Have you ever felt trapped in a loop with no way out? You work hard, you crave success, but everything seems to be stacked against you. You ask yourself, why do others achieve everything so easily while I struggle? If you have ever carried the heavy feeling of powerlessness, ever considered yourself a victim of fate, then this story is for you. It will unveil a simple, yet immensely powerful, truth about where true success originates, in your own thoughts. The greatness of a person is determined by their thoughts. This is a timeless truth that has been proven repeatedly by the lives of extraordinary individuals like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos. They didn't just dream, they shaped reality from their unwavering conviction. Napoleon Hill, in his famous book Think and Grow Rich, declared, "What you think about, you become." But if that is true, why do so many people struggle to succeed? Do they not think about their future? Do they fail to see their own boundless potential? Today's story will shed light on these questions and teach you a powerful lesson. It begins in a place one would least associate with success, a bustling railway station. At a busy railway station, where thousands of people pass through every day carrying big dreams and goals, lived a man who survived by begging. Every day, he eked out a living by asking passengers for donations as they waited for their trains. His life was encapsulated in the act of extending his hand, repeating his pleas, and waiting for pity. He had done this for so long that it had become instinctual. It was the sole definition of his existence. He wasn't a man who performed the act of begging, he was a beggar. He believed the world was divided into two types of people, the givers and the takers. Which was him? And within this ideology, he was completely powerless, beyond waiting for the random kindness of others. One day, while working his usual spot, he noticed a well-dressed businessman stepping onto the platform. Seeing his expensive suit, the sparkling watch, and his confident posture, the beggar immediately thought, "This man must be truly rich. If I ask him, he will surely give me a generous amount." With this hope, the beggar approached the businessman and stretched out his hand. But instead of placing money in his hand, the businessman stopped, looked him straight in the eye, and asked a question that stunned him. "Do you always just take from others? Have you ever given anything to anyone?" The beggar froze. Never, in all his long years of begging, had he heard such a question. Confused, he stammered in reply, "Sir, I'm just a beggar. I survive by asking for money. I have nothing to give to anyone." The businessman smiled placidly, yet his words were sharp as a blade. "If you believe you have nothing to give, then you also have no right to ask for anything. I am a businessman, and I believe in the principle of exchange. If you can offer me something, I will gladly give you something in return. But if you have absolutely nothing to give, I cannot give you anything either." Saying this, the businessman boarded his train and departed, leaving the beggar standing there, completely overwhelmed. The beggar stood motionless. The businessman's words kept echoing in his mind like thunder, "Nothing to give. Then you also have no right to ask for anything." He had been begging for so long, but no one had ever said this to him. The man's words were not rude, but they exposed a naked truth. He questioned himself, "If I can't offer anything in return, then why should people give me anything?" Lan Do Tien. The beggar realized a terrifying fact. Perhaps this was why people usually only offered him a small coin, a mere formality, before hurrying away. It was because he offered them no value, not even the smallest amount. In return, they were simply paying for their pity, not for a meaningful exchange. That night, he lay awake, unable to sleep, deep in thought. But what can I give? I am just a beggar. I have nothing. Yet, the businessman's words kept repeating like a mantra. If you want to receive, you must first give. He spent the next 2 days not begging at all. He was too preoccupied with thinking, trying to find a value that a man with nothing could exchange. He had to find something to change his self-definition. If he was no longer the receiver, then what would he be? On the third day, as he sat listlessly at the station, the beggar's eyes happened to land on a patch of brightly colored wildflowers blooming next to the tracks. Their fresh colors suddenly captivated him. And then, an idea flashed like lightning. What if, instead of just taking, I offer something in return? What if I give people a flower every time they give me money? It was a crazy idea, but it was the only way out of his impoverished self-definition. Determined, He slowly walked over, gently plucked a handful of wildflowers, and returned to his usual spot. This time, when someone handed him a coin, he smiled brightly, nodded his thanks, and trao lai cho ho mo bong wa instead of just pocketing the money. The astonishing thing happened. People accepted the wildflowers with joy. Some even smiled broadly and said thank you. As the days passed, something incredible occurred. The amount of money he received increased significantly. He began to notice a pattern. As long as he had flowers, people gave far more generously. When he ran out of flowers, the donations decreased again. It's true, he thought. People like to receive something in exchange. They are no longer paying for pity, they are buying an experience. A pleasant surprise, a moment of freshness. One day, as he was handing out flowers in exchange for donations, he spotted the businessman again, sitting on the train. Excited, he rushed over and said, "Sir, today, I have something to give you. If you give me money, I will give you these flowers in exchange." The businessman smiled, handed him some cash, and took a few flowers. "You have truly understood the value of exchange," the businessman said. "Today, you are no longer just a beggar. You have become a businessman." The train stopped at the next station, and the businessman stepped off. The beggar stood watching him go, his words sparking a new thought in his mind. Am I really a businessman now? He pondered it for a long time. Then suddenly, he realized, I now know the secret of success. I am not just a beggar, I am a trader. People aren't giving me money out of pity, they are paying for the flowers I provide them. This means I have a business. In that moment, his perception of himself changed forever. Instead of seeing himself as the lowly receiver, he saw himself as a provider of value. Right that day, he made a bold decision. He left the railway station and never returned as a beggar again. 6 months later, at that same bustling railway station, two elegantly dressed men met. They exchanged a handshake, but one looked at the other with a curious expression. "You look familiar. Have we met somewhere before?" The other man smiled and replied, "Yes, we have met twice before, right here on this very platform." The first man frowned, trying to remember. Then his eyes widened in surprise. "Wait, you're the beggar? The one I refused to give money to? And then later I bought flowers from you?" The former beggar laughed heartily, full of pride. "Yes, that was me. But today, I am no longer a beggar. I run a successful flower business, and I'm traveling to expand the market further." The businessman was astonished. "That's incredible. What changed?" The flower seller smiled, his eyes filled with understanding. "You taught me one of life's greatest truths. We only truly receive when we give." That day, I realized that I was never really a beggar. I was a businessman all along. I just had to see myself that way. The two men shook hands once more, now as equals. Then they boarded their respective trains, heading toward their own brilliant futures. Our lives are shaped by how we see ourselves. If you believe you are small, you will remain limited. But if you recognize your inner potential, the ability to create value, the ability to give, the ability to exchange, you can achieve greatness. Do not limit yourself with old labels of receiver, victim, or the needy. See yourself as strong, capable, and successful. Because when your thoughts change, your future changes too. If you like this story, please give it a thumbs up, comment below on what you learned, and share it to inspire others. See you in the next story.